All right, so Stanley, what are you doing here?
Having fun.
You're having fun?
Yeah.
All right, nice to meet you here.
I am here under a non-profit organization called MCW Global. So MCW Global is a non-profit organization based in New York City, and it annually brings people from different parts of the world to the United States for a 10-day in-person fellowship.
Okay.
And they give them skills and equip them with resources, networks necessary for them to implement projects in their communities. So
you've learned about the opportunity. Then how do you find yourself in the United States?
Yes.
What are the steps?
Yeah, so there are 3 rounds of application. First, you there are certain essays you're gonna write. You're gonna fill out information about your background and all that stuff, and the area in which you'd like to focus on under whether it's health, economic security, or education. And after the first round, for starters, it's a fully funded program, so they accommodate your flight, round trip to the U.S., and your accommodation, where you're gonna sleep, food, and all that stuff. And so the first thing is to ensure, whether you have a passport or not, getting a passport, and then applying for a visa to come into the United States. And the minute you get the visa is when they'll proceed to booking your flights, accommodation, and all that stuff. On an average of the total number of applicants, more than 4,000 people normally apply for the program. And
from Kenya or
all over the world, and only 30 people normally get selected. So
that's competitive.
Yeah, it's really competitive, and I was the only Kenyan who.
You are the only Kenyan during that year.
During that year, yeah.
And hello viewers, today I was walking around campus and I bumped into Stanley. Stanley is a student from Kenya and he's in the United States for a visit, and he's going to talk about what brought him here and what he's doing. Stanley, welcome.
Thank you, Victor.
So Stanley, who are you and where are you from?
Yeah, so my name is Stanley Thomas. I am originally from Kenya. I major in psychology at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa in Nairobi. And yeah, so far that's all about me.
Okay, so Stanley, what has brought you here?
Yeah, so I am here for a leadership program. And I'm participating under the capacity of being a mentor. Yeah.
And the capacity of being?
A mentor, yeah, a mentor.
Oh, what does that mean?
So being a mentor basically means that I'm guiding people to implement their projects. Okay, so a little background of what I'm doing. Under the capacity, how I got to be here.
Okay.
So I am here under a non-profit organization called MCW Global. So MCW Global is a non-profit organization based in New York City, and it annually brings people from different parts of the world to the United States for a 10-day in-person fellowship. And they give them skills and equip them with resources, networks necessary for them to implement projects in their communities. So MCW Global works under 3 scopes: health, education, and economic security. And people passionate with these 3 areas get to come and learn how they would implement projects in their community.
So before you go about MCW Global, how did you learn about this opportunity?
So I learned about the opportunity through my professor at Catholic University of Eastern Africa. Yeah, and I applied and got in.
So you've learned about the opportunity. Then how do you find yourself in the United States?
Yes.
What are the steps?
Yeah, so there are 3 rounds of application. First, there are certain essays you're gonna write. You're gonna fill out information about your background and all that stuff, and the area in which you'd like to focus on under whether it's health, economic security, or education. And after the first round, shortlisted candidates get to proceed to the second round, where they get to intensely speak about how they envision implementing their projects. And the final round is the 3rd round, where you're interviewed virtually and get accepted or not. Okay,
there's somebody right now who's watching and listening to us. They have just had MCW Global, and this is a company in New York that is supporting people who have something special to give back to their home country. Okay, they have heard that there is MCW Global. Where do they go? How are they going to do the application? So let's start first, like, where do you go so that you can look at the application and the requirements for that application?
Yeah, so you can just log into the organization's website, and everything is outlined there. So how you will proceed on how you will apply and all that stuff is laid down.
So they have a website.
Yeah, they have a website.
All right, I'll link the website down below and you'll have a chance to look at the requirements. So now you've gone into the website, you've done this application twice. What are the requirements that are needed for one to do this application?
So you get to be part of the organization at different levels. My first time I joined as a mentee and I came in as a mentor. So mentors are alumni of the program.
Okay.
So if you're an alumni, then you'll be able to apply as a mentor. And what this means is that you get to mentor mentees. But if you're applying for a if you're a first time applier, then you get to go through the 3 rounds of application I just talked about.
Okay, so you've said the first time you came as, it was 2023. You came as a mentee. So right now you applied and came, you come like a mentor. So there's somebody like who's watching and wants to get, they've heard it for the first time, so they'll get in as a mentee. So what do you need to apply as a mentee?
Well, everything is outlined on the application website, so they get to change as days go by.
Okay,
so it's not static.
Okay.
Yeah. So but there are things like your resume, your CV, and the ACEs basically. But everything is outlined in the website.
All right. Is this specifically for students?
Any person between the ages of 18 to 26.
So any person between the ages of 18 to 26 can apply to this opportunity.
Yep.
So, and do you need to be a member of this organization?
What do you mean?
Like, do you need to join, like, to be part of the, like, a member? Let's say you want to apply as a mentee. Do they have like a registration fee for the organization?
No. No, it's free for starters, and anyone can apply. Everything is just in the website, and you just go and apply. And depending on your qualifications, then that will determine whether you'll get selected or not.
Okay, so what do you need? Like, what do you need to write in the essays? Like,
I can't remember because it was quite a while back. And again, as I said, it always keeps changing. And so if you need to know everything, just go to the website
and you'll get to know the information.
And they normally open their applications sometime in October.
Okay.
So yeah, that is also good to know.
So it's October for the next cycle, for the next year.
Yeah.
All right. So from the opening is on October, and when do they close?
It's a month-long period of application, so sometime in November.
So it's countries all over the world.
Yeah, countries all over the world.
And so now you've applied, you're waiting. What is the process after the application?
So they mostly communicate through emails whether you've been shortlisted to proceed to the 3 rounds I talked about.
Okay, so there are 3 rounds, and now what is the first and second round like? Talk about the 3 rounds.
The first round is mostly general, talking about the area you're mostly attached to, whether it's on health, economic security, or education, and write a small essay of you talking about why you're passionate about that area.
Okay.
And maybe talking about your experiences as far as making impact goes. And if you proceed to the second round is now more of you intensely talking about how you envision yourself implementing your ideal project. And the third round is a virtual interview. And so after the virtual interview, then you'll be communicated to on whether you've been selected or not.
So this is, can you proceed, like, you have to do all the rounds?
Yeah.
Or you are dropped after first round, you'll get dropped if you're not qualified? Yeah,
so it's the first round. If you don't pass the first round, then you're done. So you have to go through all the rounds.
So what do you think makes a competitive application? Like, what are the tips that you can tell somebody who's going to apply to this program? Like, what should they do so that they pass all the rounds?
It's all about authenticity. it's never that deep. It's just more of how passionate you are about implementing a project, how specific, measurable, and the SMART goals. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think it just does. It's all about how passionate, how authentic, and how enthusiastic you are about making impact in your community.
And what about your academic standing? Does it count? Like you have to have good grades or something?
No, not really. It's all about whether you meet the age criteria, the age bracket, on whether you're eligible or not, and things to do with education they'll probably only ask you your highest level of education, but it's not a huge factor determining whether you can make impact in your community or not.
Okay. And so you're done. You've been told that you've been selected. What's the next step?
Yeah, so okay, for starters, it's a fully funded program, so they accommodate your flight, round trip to the U.S., and your accommodation, where you're gonna sleep, food, and all that stuff. And so, so the first thing is to ensure, whether you have a passport or not, getting a passport, and then applying for a visa to come into the United States. And the minute you get the visa is when they'll proceed to booking your flights, accommodation, and all that stuff.
Okay. So after you've gotten the opportunity, now you have to go to the immigration to ensure that you've gotten the visa.
Yeah.
So you were selected, a whole number of you, like from your country. How many were you selected, like the first time?
So when I came in as a mentee, I was the only Kenyan.
Oh, you were the only Kenyan?
Yeah.
So it's that competitive?
It's like, and actually, on an average of the total number of applicants, more than 4,000 people normally apply for the program. And
from Kenya or
all over the world. And only 30 people normally get selected. So
that's competitive.
Yeah, it's really competitive. And I was I was the only Kenyan who.
You are the only Kenyan during that year?
During that year, yeah.
And so, can you be denied a visa?
Yeah, so I wasn't the only Kenyan who got selected, but I was the only Kenyan who got the visa. So there are other 2 Kenyans who got selected, so we would be 3 in total, but I was the only one who got the visa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's competitive, and also the visa is not guaranteed that you're going to get the visa.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you've gotten the visa. And when do you know the decision that you've gotten in? Like you have secured this opportunity then now you can proceed to get the visa, because you talked of it opens in October, then closes like the end of October. Then when are the decisions made, like the final time?
The final decision, sometime in January. Late January, early February.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when do you come to the United States?
The program is from July, so early July to mid-July.
Okay.
It's a 10-day fellowship program.
All right.
Yeah.
So now you are here the last time, you were here last year, 2023. So what do you learn now in the program?
So my project was on mental health. I started an initiative that aimed on spreading mental health awareness among the youth in Nairobi, Kenya. And so for you to graduate from the program, you need to come up with a mission, vision, come up with numbers. You've done this for your community. The qualifications for you to graduate. And I successfully graduated from mine because I implemented my project the way the organization expected me to.
Okay.
And it's a 1-year-long program. So the 10 part of the in-person fellowship in the United States is where you kind of meet the team and other people, and then the rest of it is virtual.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's a whole year
it's a
project.
Whole year.
Coming to the United States, it's only for the 10 days you're here. And so when you are away, here you are meeting them, then when you are away, is it funded? Is it funded? Are you funded to do those projects?
No, not really. No, you're not.
So it's your own initiative?
Yeah, so you're just, but then now after you graduate from the program, you can apply for, there are further opportunities on which you can engage more with the organization. And for starters, you can apply for something called the Alumni Venture Fund. So as an alumni, I am eligible to apply for funding from the organization to continue implementing my project. And there are also other internship programs you can do with the organization, because as much as it's based in the United States, they also have branches in Tanzania, Rwanda, and Zambia. So you can intern in either of the countries. And so this is all if you successfully graduated from the program and you showed your dedication to making impact in your community.
All right. And now you are done with the first part. Before that, do you need to make this initiative before you start applying, or after you've successfully become like part of that organization is when you initiate something for your community?
So there are a lot of people who come in with initiatives they already started prior to the program, and there are also people who come in with fresh ideas before participating in the program. Like I was among the people who had not started an initiative before. So either way, it's not fixated on whether you should have started an initiative before or
All right. So the first year you've done the whole project. Like, are you evaluated at the end of that 1 year?
It's not evaluation really. So each mentee has a mentor, and this mentor helps the mentee facilitate their projects in their communities. So the things they have to have successfully completed. Say you need to have a mission. You need to have a mission for your initiative. You need to talk about the target group you're going to focus on. You need to talk about the people you will partner with, potential stakeholders, potential donors. So these are the things it's kind of like a checkbook. So you've done this check, you've done this check, you've done this check. So it's not more of you need to have reached 10,000 people by the end of the year, but it's more of tell us how many people you've reached at the end of the year. So it's not fixated. It's more of just whether you've made impact in your community or not. So the first year you've successfully completed. So it's now another year, round of applications. Now you decided to apply as a mentor. So how is this different from the first one? It basically means that I'll have mentees who I'll mentor. So when I came in as a mentee, I had a mentor who guided me throughout the year on how I would implement my project, since they already have experience. And so basically, I'm coming in as a mentor, meaning I have my own mentees who I will guide throughout the year to implement their projects.
The second time you're applying, is there something different compared to when you're applying as a mentor?
You don't have to go through the 3 rounds of application because you're an alumni and they technically know who you are. And so you just fill out a Google Doc form. They give you case scenarios and kind of like ask you how you deal with whatever issue you can potentially face when you are mentoring someone. And you just upload your CV or resume, and that's about it.
And is it a guarantee that if you are a mentee, you'll become a mentor, you'll be selected as a mentor?
Absolutely not.
So what do you think makes now a stronger mentor application?
How you conduct yourself throughout the fellowship, I believe, is a factor. How you conduct yourself throughout the fellowship and how you conducted your project throughout the year. Were you constantly in touch with your mentor? Were you following up on programs? Were you networking with whatever MCW was? Were you making use of whatever MCW was giving you? And are you generally an ideal leader?
So if somebody gets in as a mentee, you advise them they should do everything correct so that they may get a chance to be a mentor.
But then also not everyone always wants to come back as a mentor. So it's more of a personal decision whether, do you want to come back? That's not the goal. I don't always go around telling mentees this is what you should do in order to come back as a mentor. So it's a personal choice. It's whether you decide whether you want to come back or not, and whether you'll be selected for it or not.
So you are done with the program. So what are you doing in University of Maryland right now?
Right now, my uncle does his PhD here in UMD.
Okay.
And so after the program, I gave him a brief visit before I head back to Kenya.
Okay.
And yeah, this is how I got myself here.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So how has this project changed your life or the opportunities that it has presented to you?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, if anything, it has made me more open-minded as far as making impact goes. You know, I have definitely gotten leadership skills. I have vast networks of people I can talk to in line with, like, you know, making impact or anything for that matter. So, and if anything, I've gotten to interact with people from different cultures.
Okay.
So I am culturally competent as well as far as this experience goes. And generally, it's a very inclusive, diverse, and accepting organization which holds this program. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And is there something else in this organization apart from now being a mentor? Is there an application again that you can make under this organization?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as I said, the moment you become an alumni, there are a lot of things you can do as far as being more engaged with the organization goes. You can apply for funding, you can do internships and all this other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing these opportunities. Our viewer, you've learned about one more opportunity that you can apply, and this can make you come to the United States and make a vast, you can make like so many connections and build a network for yourself. And Stanley has shared the tips. I'll link the organization, the names, and all that below in the description so that you can go ahead and check out this opportunity. So Stanley, look at the camera and give few words to the viewer on how they can navigate through this process and any remarks that you can give the viewers.
I mean, yeah, sure. Well, if you ever consider applying for the programs organized by MCW Global, be sure to check out the link that is going to be posted in the bio. And also, when you apply, it's all about authenticity. It's all about how passionate you are about making impact in your community in whatever areas you want to focus on. And also, it doesn't require professionals, or it doesn't require people who are already, you know, out there. So everyone deserves a shot. Everyone has a shot on getting in the program. And yeah, it's definitely going to be a program that will change your life in different perspectives.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing.
Sure, sure.